Good morning once again, my brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ. Welcome to another Living Hope Today study. How thankful I am to God that you are here. And today we start a new book in the Old Testament, the book of Ruth. And I want to start today with a question. Have you ever had a really bad day? I'm not talking about, you burnt your toast or your car wouldn't start or something like that. I'm talking about a day where the circumstances of your life changed so drastically that you thought God had abandoned you. Maybe God was judging you. Maybe life as you know it is over. Have you ever had a day where you just thought, my whole life has crumbled before my eyes? Ruth is a book that's going to teach us how to deal with that and how to persevere based on what we watch God do in this book. And I want to just say in the beginning, the Lord is mentioned very little in this book. In fact, there's no direct communication where the Lord is telling somebody, here, go do this in this book. This is just life working out as we all experience in our daily walk, right? Let's look at this. The story starts like this: in the days when the judges ruled. Okay, so stop right there. What do we know about that? Well, we know everybody does what's right in their own eyes. There's basically political chaos, moral chaos, all kinds of trouble, right? Okay, so this is when the story of Ruth is set. Okay, what happens in those days when the judges ruled? Well, there was famine in the land. What does that mean? There's not enough food to eat. We're not growing food. There's no rain, or for whatever reason, we're not producing the crops we need to produce to survive. Okay, there's famine. And a man from Bethlehem of Judah, in Judah, remember that'll be important as well, Bethlehem, together with his wife and 2 sons, went to live, they went to live for a while in the country of Moab. So, okay, we got to go somewhere where there's food. Well, where's Moab? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Here's a map of the region. Up here on this map, we have Bethlehem and Jerusalem in that circle. I know it's probably hard to see on your smaller screens, but look on the east side of the Dead Sea. There's that place called Moab. So they've basically followed that little orange line. It's been quite a walk, but they're going to a foreign country, a pagan nation, to try to survive. Has God said, go to Moab? No, we're not told anything like that. This is just a practical decision based on the fact that we can't survive if we can't eat. So let's go somewhere where there's food. All right. Is God in it? Well, so far we haven't heard anything about his working. The man's name was Elimelech. All right. Oh, so now we're going to identify the characters of the story. First, we have Elimelech, that's the husband. His wife's name is Naomi, and the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem, Judah. Okay, notice the text has now told us twice about Bethlehem and about their heritage. And they went to Moab and lived there. All right. Again, now we've been told twice that they've left the country. Now, Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died. Look at this, one sentence. Elimelech, you got introduced in verse 2. Verse 3, you're gone. All right? Died. And she was left with her 2 sons. So now we have a grieving widow. Her name is Naomi. You know, I don't know if you've ever had to pack up and move because of political or natural circumstances. You don't have enough to eat. You have to become a refugee, basically, to go to a different country. But Naomi's experienced that, packing up whatever she had in her home, saying goodbye to all her neighbors and friends and perhaps relatives and loved ones. I'm going to walk to Moab now. She gets there having lost her home and gone through that experience. Now she loses her husband. But she still has her 2 sons, at least in verse 3. They married Moabite women. Again, that was really not allowed by Jewish standards, but okay, when in Moab, do as the Moabites do, I guess. There's no prohibition, but there's also no, the Lord told us to do this in this text, okay? But here's the ladies that they married, one named Orpah and the other Ruth. Okay, there's the introduction to our lead character. After they had lived there about 10 years, so life's been going on, and I think about Naomi, okay? I left my home. I'm now a widow in a foreign country in Moab, and these kids have been married for 10 years. Where are my grandchildren? How come I don't have a house full of young people running around and bringing me joy? Well, instead, the story goes like this. After they had lived there about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion also died. So now we got 3 widows, right? We got Naomi, we got Orpah, and we got Ruth. They've all lost their husbands. And Naomi was left without her 2 sons and her husband. That's a very significant little line there, because if you're female in these cultures of the Middle East back in those days, and in some of those cultures even today, you're on your own. You're unprotected. You're exposed to whatever person wants to be mean to you. I mean, you're really in a vulnerable place. Okay, so now Naomi, no grandkids, no house in Bethlehem, no husband, and now no sons. Wow. When she heard in Moab that the Lord had come to the aid of his people by providing food for them, Naomi and her daughters-in-law prepared to return home from there. Notice that there's no mention of grieving, there's no mention of the impact of these events, although the impact had to be horrible. What we are told, though, as the story proceeds, is Naomi's ready to go home. The Lord had come to the aid of his people. So the Lord is feeding the people in Bethlehem again. There is enough food there for everybody. Okay, let's go home. Well, with her 2 daughters-in-law, she left the place where she had been living, and she set out on the road that would take them back to the land of Judah. So let's go. We're going home. Of course, it's not home to Orpah and Ruth, right? They're Moabite women. Well, when Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show kindness to you as you have shown to your dead and to me. You guys have been great to me. I don't know why you need to follow me to Bethlehem, really. Your life is here. Your culture is here. Your friends, your families, they're all here. Why don't you just stay? You don't have to come with me." In fact, then in verse 9, she says, "May the Lord grant that each of you will find rest in the home of another husband." You guys are still young enough. You could get married. All right, I'm praying that you can resume life even though we've all experienced this tragedy of our husbands dying. And then she kissed them, and they wept aloud. So here we have 3 weeping widows in verse 9, and said to her, "We'll go back with your people. We'll go back with you to your people. We're going to go with you, Naomi. You don't have to go by yourself." But Naomi said, "No, wait, no, return home. Don't stay with me. You see the tragedy that follows me around. So far I've been in a famine. I've lost my husband. I've lost my 2 sons. I've lost everything. I've lost everything. And now I'm ready to lose you guys. You guys can go back and live your life. You don't need me. Just go. Return home, my daughters. Why would you come with me? Am I going to have any more sons that could become your husbands? Like, I'm not going to provide a husband for you. And oh, by the way, when we get back to Bethlehem, you know, you guys are from Moab, right? It's unlikely that any Jewish mother is going to let her son marry you, right? So in other words, you're committing yourselves to be widows with me until we all die. Return home, my daughters. I am too old to have another husband, and even if I thought there was still hope for me, even if I had a husband tonight and then gave birth to sons, would you wait until they grew up? Would you remain unmarried for them? No, my daughters. It is more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord's hand has gone out against me. What does Naomi conclude by all this tragedy she suffered? I must be under some kind of curse from God. He's against me for some reason. All my friends, they have their husbands, their pantries are full, they have their kids and their grandkids. And what do I have? I have tragedy. I have sadness. I have no more family. I've lost my husband. I've lost my sons. I don't know why God's mad at me, but he's really attacked me. My life has been torn apart. Have you ever felt like that? Well, one of the lessons in this book is to see what God is doing in the midst of all this tragedy. He hasn't abandoned her at all, but we'll have to wait to see that. As they wept again, at this they wept again, weeping widows on the road. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye. Hey, I'll see you later. You're right, I'm going home. But Ruth clung to her. Ruth clung to her. Why? We're not told why. We're just told that Ruth isn't leaving. So Naomi gives another impassioned plea. Look, said Naomi, your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her. Come on, Ruth. Really? You want to follow me? Come on. Why would you do that? Well, listen to this. This is one of the key verses in the whole book. Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go. And where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. I am with you, Naomi. I am not leaving you. Is this just loyalty? Well, it is loyalty. It might also be conversion. Maybe in the process of all these things, Ruth has understood that the Moabite pagan gods are nothing and that the God of Israel is God. For whatever reason, God has put it in her heart to stay with Naomi. Your God will be my God. Where you die, I'll die, and there I'll be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if anything but death separates you and me. Hey, that's incredible, isn't it? Ruth is saying, I will not leave you, Naomi. And when Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her. All right, if that's your choice, let's go. All right, off they go to walk to Bethlehem. So the two women went on until they came to Bethlehem, and when they arrived in Bethlehem, the whole town was stirred because of them, and the women exclaimed, can this be Naomi? They recognize her, but listen to her response. Don't call me Naomi, she told them. Call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. Guess what Mara means? Bitter. Poor Naomi. She can't see any logic behind what's happened to her. She doesn't see the hand of God. She just firmly believes that God could have made her life good, but nothing but sorrow, nothing but tragedy has befallen her. And I'm not happy. I'm bitter. I'm not going to get over it. It's too much for me. I'm back as a widow and as a mother with no sons. I have Ruth here with me. She stayed, but my life has been so drastically and tragically changed that I don't know. Where's God in all this? What's happening? I thought he was supposed to help me in my life and give me a good life. Look what's happened. Well, that's where chapter 1 takes us. Here it kind of sums it up. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? The Lord has afflicted me. See this attitude she has? The Lord has afflicted me. The Almighty has brought misfortune upon me. God has attacked me. I don't know why, but he has. So Naomi returned from Moab, accompanied by Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, arriving in Bethlehem as the barley harvest was beginning. That's the end of chapter 1. Tragedy, weeping widows, loss, despair, bitterness. What a tragic opening to a story. But as we know, God doesn't have to necessarily declare himself to still be moving behind the scenes. He manipulates circumstances in life for his purpose, not necessarily for our pleasure. And he's got an incredible purpose for all the tragedy that's befallen these ladies in chapter 1. We'll pick it up there next time. God bless you, church. Serve him well.
Who is it who falls